My opponent had the plan text of enforcing the Fit Kids Act, an act simply that would enforce kids to take a fitness class that was specialized in nutrition and fitness. When I interviewed him with a couple of questions. The first question was, who would teach this class? Well, he came up with the answer of a specialized teacher to teach the class. Now let me ask you something. Does the government have enough money to teach or to pay for all these specialized teachers? As you've seen in previous examples, multiple extracurricular classes, may it be band or sports, are being cut from a lot of programs just because there is not enough money to pay for these classes. So are we stating that we're going to prioritize generally extracurriculars such as band or even more physically active kids that are in sports for the general population? We do not have the money for that, and it's something about priority, and these specialists are not on the highest priority. The second is there even a large enough pool of trained specialists to actually be able to fill the entire country? I doubt we can actually or make a large enough program to teach enough people to become fitness specialists for each person or for each school in the country. For such a large endeavor, it would take a large amount of money, and it would take a large amount of time, which I believe we currently do not have. So either we would make the largest retraining program to happen since the New Deal, or we would have to rely on PE coaches that would not have the training or education to implement these programs, or we would just not rely on this program at all. The second question I asked was, will these less healthy kids be ostracized? Well, he answered, it would be a struggle, and it's possible that it would happen, but with groups and goals, that should be minimized. Well, the thing is that why do we even have to put these kids in a situation where they will be ostracized? Well, they will be treated differently just for the small chance that they will get healthier. He admitted that it will happen, and it's just one of the side effects to a program that is flawed and would not work. With all this, with the chance that the kids will be ostracized, you're just simply trying to answer one problem with another. You might fix their physical problem, but there could be underlying mental health problems because of the fact that there are kids going to be bullied and ostracized and treated differently just due to the fact that they are less healthy. So, and just fixing one problem to bring up another one is something that I believe would not work. And the last question that I asked him was, should the parents have the responsibility to teach their kids about fitness and nutrition compared to that of the state? And he admitted that it should be the parents, but he stated that the parents did not have the time. I believe that's an overgeneralization. Just because some parents are busy and some parents just do not have the time does not mean that all parents are busy. And it should be on the shoulders or the burden of the parents to teach their children of healthy living and taking care of one's body, and not that of the state. Just because if you start intruding in the physical aspect of one person, it could lead to a larger intrusion, and that just brings up an entirely separate issue of state intrusion, which I will not bring up in this particular rebuttal. So let me go over everything that I've stated. I asked him the first question was who would teach him. He responded with a specialized teacher to teach his classes. I rebutted with the schools do not have the money to pay for these classes, and where would we find enough of qualified candidates to actually fill in those positions? The second question I asked him, will these less healthy kids be ostracized? Which he responded that it would be a struggle, but with the groups and goals to meet, it would be minimized. I responded with, well, the fact is that he admitted that kids would be treated differently, and there's a possibility that with all these problems, mental health issues could arise from bullying, which we've seen in previous examples. And the third question was, should it be the parent's responsibility, not that of the state? And he responded with, it is the parent's responsibility, or it should be the parent's responsibility, but he answered it with an overgeneralization of parents being responsible. With all these facts and all this information I've given you, I want you to understand that the Fit Kids Act is not something that we can implement at this time, especially with the resources and especially with the outcomes that might arise from its implementation. There are a large variety of different programs that could be implemented that would be much more useful, or simply just fine-tuning the current physical education program that we have, simply upgrading or supplementing the training and the education that the current physical education teachers on campus actually have to be able to improve it, maybe healthier eating on campus. There's a large variety of things, but the Fit Kids Act is not something that we can implement at this time without some kind of detrimental issue that could arise from that. And because of that, I want you to understand that the Fit Kids Act is not something I would support, and hopefully you would not support either.